Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and today I'm here with a design team post for Scrapping for Less. Today I'm going to be making this fun A2 size card gift set. It includes the box that's going to hold it, and you can just give it as a gift. And I wasn't originally going to leave the card making in here, but I kind of wanted you to see what I did. I kind of had an assembly line going on. I created the card bases, cut out the pattern paper, adhered all of the layers, stamped out the sentiments. I cut the sentiment strips with one die that is ticket die, I believe, from Sizzix. It's a nesting die set. And the other one was just a punch with the scalloped circle. I am using a Sweet Christmas paper pad. I used Pop Tone Gumdrop Green for my card bases, and then the stamp set that I'm using is Christmas Bell and Sayings from Scrapping for Less. And like I said, I just wanted you to kind of see how I went about just putting these cards together. They're super quick. I think if I did this again, I probably wouldn't add the sequence that you'll see in a few minutes, and I would probably make 6 cards instead of 4. But for this project, it took me a little less than an hour to complete the entire thing from start to finish, even die cutting out my sentiment strips. And then also, I used 4 sheets of cardstock, 2 for the card bases and 2 for the book box itself. And then I ended up using 5 sheets of pattern paper for this. I didn't decorate it a ton. You can certainly decorate it however you want, but I have a kind of funny story with it. So I had been wanting to make this for a long time. I'd been looking at a lot of different gift boxes for cards so that you can kind of give it as a gift set or a card set. And I finally found one that I really, really liked. The video that I took the most out of was Rejoice and Create, and hers is where I got the measurements from. And so I really liked this, and it's a lot more solid than other card boxes that I've seen. A lot of them have and I didn't want a complete lid to take on and off. I wanted it to kind of all be one thing. So for me, like I said, I thought this was perfect because it was super simple. There's not a ton of measuring and a ton of cutting because I'm not a big fan of that. But it worked out perfect and it's really easy. So the cards are just regular A2 size cards. So like I said, I decorated all of them. Now I'm going to go over the papers you'll need to make the box. So you're going to need a piece that's 10 3/8 inches by 6.5 inches. You're going to need another piece of cardstock that's 8 inches by 7.5 inches. And then the layering pieces that I used, and like I said, I did not decorate this a ton, but you certainly could do more. But the layering pieces that I did on the pattern paper, I did a front panel was 4.25 by 6 inches, and then the inside box panel was, for the smaller one, was 1.5 by 5.5 inches. And then the area where you can write to who it's to and has a little sentiment on there and whatnot was 5.5 by 4.25. The total size of the box is 6.5 inches by 4 3/4, and it's 7/8 of an inch deep or wide, no, deep, to be able to hold on to your cards or whatever. You really don't have to put cards in there, but they do fit A2 size cards along with their envelopes perfectly. So once I get these all finished, I'll get into the scoring and the very little bit of cutting that you actually have to do with this. But like I said, I just think you have so many options with this. You can use it for anything, if birthday cards, any type of cards, and decorate it however you want. And like I said, you can do as much or as little as you like. Now you're going to take the 10 3/8 inch by 6.5 inch, and on the 10.5 inch or 10 3/8 inch side, you're going to score it at 4 3/4 and flip it around and score it at 4 3/4. On the 8-inch side, so make sure it's 8 inches on the top, you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch, 5 1/4, and 6 inches. So that's that. You're going to flip it over on its side, and you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on each side. And that is all of the scoring that we're going to be doing. Then you're going to, that first piece is just kind of the book fold. You're just folding those 2 score lines and just make sure that you have nice crisp edges on there, and then just put that off to the side until you're ready to decorate it. It is easier to decorate if you decorate it before you put it all together. Then on the box piece, you're going to fold all of your score lines over. Use your bone folder to get nice crisp edges on them, and you fold them all the same way. So they're all going to fold in the same direction. You don't have to worry about flipping it around or anything. You do want to line this up and make sure that it is even as you're kind of going through it. Then you're going to take the side that has the largest area and have it facing down from the long ways. So you see that larger area? And then you're going to kind of snip just in the center where the score line is on the first score line, up to the first score line, and you're just going to snip a little bit off, and it's going to kind of tether it so that it's easier to use. Then flip it over on its side, and you're going to make these other little tabs stick out. So you're just going to cut it up to that first score line on each side, on both sides up and down, so you end up with those little flaps. And that's all of the cutting that we'll be doing. Now when you adhere this, the first part's going to be adhered like that, so you're just going to put adhesive, and I would use a good liquid adhesive because you want to make sure this stays together, but you're only using it on those tabs. Nowhere else is the glue going to go for this. And then just make sure you line them up and then give it a minute to set. You can use real strong double-sided score tape, but like I said, I would make sure that you put enough on there because you do not want this to fall apart. Now this part, you're going to flip over all 4 of the flaps, so the little ones that you made that you cut, and then the ones that were created from that, and it's going to fold over. Now the big thing you want to make sure is those small flaps are on the inside of the larger flaps when you flip it over. So you're going to put your adhesive on both the little flap and the larger flap on both sides. And like I said, you want to make sure that that smaller flap is on the inside of the larger flap when you turn it in to adhere it. And the larger flap is what is actually going to adhere to the side of the box, and those smaller flaps are going to adhere to the side of the larger flaps. And then I would get a bone folder or a pencil or something to get in there to make sure that those flaps are in the right spot, that they're pressed up against, the smaller flaps are pressed up against the larger flaps. And then just like I said, kind of hold it in place for a few minutes, make sure everything is setting properly. And then that is going to be the box that's going to go inside of the book. So once you get that done, you're going to take your adhesive and adhere it in there. And you're going to adhere it all the way to the score line around that, like the center of the book. So you're going to adhere the entire bottom of the box and then that side of the book, and you're going to make sure that it goes all the way up to that score line. Now these are the pattern papers that I chose. I actually decided to use the one with the candy canes on it instead of the one I was originally going to do. And you can adhere that to the front. Like I said, it is easier to decorate this prior to you adhering the box into it. Now you can stick the other side on, but if you were going to use a ribbon or magnets, you would do that at this point. Prior to you adhering that strip right there on the box side, you would put a small magnet there underneath it so that when you put it on there, and then just make sure it lines up with the one on the other side, and then you would adhere the panel on the other side for your writing and stuff with that if you're going to use the magnets. If you're going to use ribbon, I would put that underneath the box and then underneath the panel that you're going to write on, so that it kind of hides that ribbon and it looks more finished. And then, like I said, this is going to butt up right against that center of the book, and you want to make sure that that gets on there, and you want to make sure that you really get your fingers in there and all over the place to make sure that it's really adhered well and it really sets well with that, because you don't want anything pulling away from the book itself, like the outside of the book. So just make sure you get something in there, whether it's a pencil or your bone folder, and get it all over there. So that's it. That's the book. And like I said, I like the stability of that box, and it definitely, when you start layering up your papers, you're giving the rest of the cardstock more stability as well. So that's the panel I'm going to add in so that I can put who my recipient is and put a little note in there. And I just tried to line it up with the box so that it was, pretty even with that. And then here's my cards. And like I said, putting those sequins on, they were kind of getting stuck a little bit, but then I was like, well, wait, I can't see the card. So I decided to flip the envelope around, and then it went in the box easier with the sequins on, but then you could also kind of see that the card sticking out. So that is pretty much it. I do just add another strip and a sentiment on the outside of the book, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to do another panel on the back, you certainly can do it the same size. And if you wanted to do one on the binding or on the middle of the book, on the spine of the book, you would do that at 5/8 of an inch by 6 inches. And that would be the proper size to go along with the rest of everything that's on there. So, like I said, that's it. It was really simple. I love this, and it's a really quick project, and I really think if you really kind of got a assembly line going and created all the cards and created all the things, you can definitely knock out quite a few in just a couple hours. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out Scrapping for Less for all of these products that I show here in the video. And I hope everybody has a great day. Take care. Stay healthy.